You always need to also look at the height of your child.
Okay.
So compare the weight with the height. That doesn't mean that the one is healthier, the chubbier one is healthier or the lean one is not healthier.
According to them, he's not finishing what he should, which is one entire paratha or one entire bowl of rice and dal.
There's too much on the net and you don't know what is correct.
Hi, this is Jesal and welcome to Little Joy's Unbox Parenting, where we discuss modern parenting in the Indian context. As a mother myself, I understand the importance of the right kind of nutrition for a child. As Little Joys, we also run a community of mothers across the country, and a hot topic of discussion is my child underweight? Is my child eating enough? वो खाता नहीं है, उसको खाने में interest नहीं है. He doesn't eat his fruits and vegetables. So joining me today is Vidhi. Vidhi is a registered clinical dietitian and a child nutritionist. Thank you so much, Vidhi, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
So growing up, I grew up in a large family. My parents had 4 kids. And I don't remember ever getting onto a weighing scale. We didn't own a weighing scale. I think even when we went to the pediatrician for our, vaccines, I think anybody barely really noted down our weight. But I also remember that when I was in school and I was severely underweight for the first 20 odd years of my life, the teacher would always tell my parents, they would not discuss my academics. They would just purely focus on the fact that I'm really underweight, and that, they would then give nutrition advice to my parents that, isko दूध केला खिला दो, इसको chocolate रोज दे दो, इसको coconut खिलाओ, इससे इसका वजन बढ़ जाएगा. So I just want to understand that in all of this, what does it really mean when you say a child is underweight?
I think we are addressing a very good topic here. So when we talk about underweight children, medically or clinically, the term underweight really means when your body mass index or your BMI, that is your weight to height ratio, is below the 5th percentile on the growth chart. So that is something that your pediatrician or your nutritionist will help you locate. And there are different growth charts that are available. So that is something that you leave up to your pediatrician or your nutritionist to help you out with.
So when you say below the 5th percentile, which actually translate to 5 in every 100 children are actually clinically considered to be underweight. Everyone above 5% is considered to be normal weight, between 5 and 95%.
Yes,
right?
So that is how we locate the growth chart is we take the same age children and same sex children, and then out of 100, like you mentioned, 5 children are underweight and the remaining, so 95% above is overweight, obese. So that's a different category, but that's how you locate the growth chart.
That's really surprising because as per society standards, any child who is chubby is healthy, and any child who looks lean is automatically underweight, and that is completely different from what the clinical measurement of what underweight really is.
So let me just give you an example here. In the perspective of BMI, the BMI of 2 children may be the same. So suppose the BMI of one child is 15, the other one is also 15, okay? They're weighing also same, okay? But the muscle or the fat percentage in the bodies differ.
Okay.
So the 2 children, one of them looks chubby, the other looks lean or muscular, okay? That doesn't mean that the one is healthier, the chubbier one is healthier or the lean one is not healthier. It's just a difference in the amount of muscle and fat that is present in the 2 children. Okay, so again, BMI is a very relative term. It's not 100% foolproof term to understand whether your child is underweight or no. There are many other factors that will help in gauging whether your child is underweight.
As a mom of a toddler, I think I read up a lot on the internet, and I read a lot of articles about nutrition and what's good for the child. And I also know that not all children eat well every day. But when I'm in a family setting and when there are, elders of the house or the extended family and they are watching my son eat, and according to them, he's not finishing what he should, which is one entire paratha or one entire bowl of rice and dal. And their comments, which is, "Arey, he's not eaten enough. Arey, ek paratha bhi nahi khaya." There is something inside that really triggers me because I make it about myself. I feel that I have done something wrong. It's because of me that my son is not eating well. So do you see this often when you meet young parents through your practice?
So yes, this is something that comes through daily.
Okay.
Okay. It is not only a question of 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds. I see this among kids who are as young as 7 months, 8 months. They've just started their food journey. And I have parents, for example, yesterday I had a parent who was worried in 1 month he's gained 300 grams. So 6 months to 7 months he's gained 300 grams, and that's not enough. Okay. So we need to explain it to them. What is the ideal weight gain that is required? So that's something very technical and I need to explain it to them. But yes, growth chart, when you say 50th percentile, is absolutely okay. What is more important to judge is whether your child is active, immunity is great, okay, not feeling sick often, okay, attentive, okay, inquisitive. Okay, so those are the pointers that determines whether your child is healthy or not. We've forgotten about all of that.
At a few of my pediatrician visits, when my son was younger and when he wasn't putting on weight, I used to tell the pediatrician, oh, he's a fussy eater, he's not interested in food, he goes a day without eating food sometimes, I'm really worried that he's not putting on weight. And the pediatrician just told me one thing, and he just said that, tell me one adult you know who is underweight. And I could not think of a single person who's underweight. That statement just stuck with me.
But the entire thing about putting on weight, again, like you mentioned, has to be the healthy way.
Absolutely.
Yes. So as children, they need to put on weight, but it has to be nutritionally healthy weight that they are putting on. We are today, India, post-COVID especially, we are in an epidemic where I personally come across a lot of overweight children, a lot of children who are with insulin resistance. So that is again a concern. So grandparents, for example, they tend to feed the child a lot of sugar and honey so that they put on weight. Ghee khalo. Ghee is not bad, but it has to be balanced, right? So the healthy weight gain is what we are looking at. If you are worried as a parent that your child is not gaining weight and you keep feeding them sugar and butter, and that's not what we are looking at.
I've noticed this, that parents and grandparents go the other mile when they want the grandchild to put on weight. Like they are constantly feeding them processed carbs, they're giving them refined sugars just to make them healthy and make them look chubby. And it's really sad because the flip side of this is this child is now going to develop unhealthy eating patterns that's going to last a lifetime. There is a surge in juvenile diabetes. There's a surge in insulin resistance in children across the country. There is childhood obesity that's on the rise. So I think that is a much bigger concern that families and parents and grandparents need to be aware of. That you want to raise a child who has healthy eating habits but looks thin or looks lean, as opposed to a child who's chubby and eats everything and eats all sorts of processed food and junk just to look like a chubby child. So we spoke about what society thinks is underweight. We spoke about a parent's insecurity when it comes to what they think is an underweight child. But how do we truly identify if our child is underweight?
So identifying whether child is underweight, there are various factors that will help you determine whether your child is underweight. So first, of it would be absorption of the nutrients.
Okay.
So the pediatrician will see there are various conditions, one such being irritable bowel syndrome, so IBS, wherein the child is continuously constipated or lose motions. So that is one condition. Second condition is where there is malabsorption of nutrients genetically. So that is one condition. Second would be genetic predisposition. Okay, we never look back at ourselves whether we were thin as children. So genetics plays a very important role whether your child is underweight or lean, lanky. Okay, so genetics plays a very important role in deciding whether your child is underweight. Third would be pregnancy is one more factor. So complications during pregnancies could also lead to your child being underweight. So certain complications in pregnancy, nutritional deficiencies in pregnancy could lead to your child being underweight.
Okay.
Next point being medical disorders. Now again, that is something that your pediatrician will decide. So with enzyme related problems with pancreas, with your kidneys, with your heart. So that's something completely medical, and your pediatrician is going to see whether that is one of the causes of being underweight. Last would be oromotor deficits. So oromotor is when your child has difficulty swallowing or has a cleft palate or has gagging, reflux. Again, you are not going to be able to judge that. That is something that your pediatrician or speech therapist would be able to understand what the response of your child is. So that is something that we cannot decide, and it has to be medically inferred. Last would be that the child is not being given enough food. That's just the last point that we are looking at. So initially, it's the pediatrician who will medically determine whether your child is underweight and the reason for it.
Yeah, I think given enough food, I would twist that and say you give everything, but they don't eat anything.
Yeah,
I
but there are
think, like, not
reasons
eating.
why they are not eating.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Got
that comes with habit, how
Yeah.
you've started your weaning journey. So that's a topic on its own, and that is where they develop habits, how you have fed them.
Yeah.
That's an entire different topic that we can touch.
So now assume that, we've identified, a mother has identified that, okay, she went to a pediatrician, she knows her child is below the 5th percentile
Okay.
on the growth chart. What can she do then on to kind of help that child kind of, grow in a healthy and sustainable way? So what can a parent do to kind of help the child get out of this underweight,
Yes.
part?
So when we address this question, first, if the child is not eating, what you can do, visit your clinical nutritionist, somebody who is an expert in this, and there are quite a lot of food that you can give to your child that will help him gain weight. It's not only food is just one part of it. Okay. When we talk about the child being underweight or habits, the child is not eating, food. Second would be stress, the environment in the house.
Okay.
Why is the child not eating? Third is habits, okay, which we develop since the child is 6 months.
Yeah.
So there has to be a routine. It's not that food has to be made available always. So one thing that we mothers nowadays do is we don't let the child feel hungry.
Yeah.
Okay, food is always made available.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to get them to that feeling of hunger.
Yeah.
Even before the child tells you that I'm hungry, that tikki is ready or that milkshake is ready.
Yeah.
Okay, he is not getting that cue that he is hungry or thirsty.
Yeah.
Okay, so probably once a week, it's just for fun, but once a week you can try that.
Yeah.
Keep your child hungry.
Yeah.
Let him come and tell you that Mama, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Please give me something to eat.
Yeah.
Okay, let that cue of hunger come in.
Yeah. Let the child ask for
Ask
food.
for food.
Yeah. So now if we know that our child lies in that 0 to 5 percentile on the growth chart and is truly underweight, what are some of your tips to actually help this child get out of this underweight bracket and actually put on healthy weight without the bad habits, which is without the refined carbs and the refined sugars and the unhealthy eating habits. So, what would you recommend should be a typical diet plan for a child like this?
So a lot of things that will help your child gain weight. Diet perspective, first of all, we look at good fats.
Okay.
Okay, so you look at nuts, you look at seeds, you look at nut butters, something that you can make at home. Nut butters, not the store-bought ones,
Yeah.
but nut butters that you can make at home. Full cream milk. So please don't give your child skim milk and low-fat milk. You can make a good old, you have grandmothers at home. So ask them for their recipes,
Yeah.
old recipes,
Yeah.
wherein you can incorporate these healthy things in that. Something like a good papdi or a sattu good papdi or a date nut roll.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, something that's sweet with power packed nutrients inside.
Yeah.
So that is good fats. Second is proteins,
Yeah.
is what you need to incorporate. Indian diets, especially vegetarian diets, are very low in protein.
Yeah.
So milk is one. If your
Yeah.
child dislikes milk, then go on to curd. You have paneer.
Yeah.
You have buttermilk.
Okay.
So, and you have your good old rice and pulse combinations, which is a complete protein.
Yeah.
So you have your Gujarati dhoklas and you have your idlis and dosas.
Yeah.
All that are good sources of protein.
Okay.
And you can include complex carbs.
Yeah.
Okay, so complex carbs is your jawar, your bajra,
Okay.
seasonal. Okay, don't go on for your breads, maida products. Regular
Yeah.
white rice with a few vegetables on the side and a dal
Yeah.
is again a good combination
Sure.
for weight gain. It's the
Sure.
quantities that we need to look at.
Yeah.
Okay, which over a period of time you need to increase. Losing weight is easier.
Okay.
Gaining weight is a little more difficult. So
Yeah.
take it slow, and there are a whole lot of foods that you can add, healthy foods.
So this has been great, Vidhi. Supremely insightful for me. I'm sure it's helping a lot of parents out there. So, what, according to you, are the key takeaways from our conversation that would help parents who feel that their children are underweight?
First would be that don't take weight as an indicator for the well-being of your child or the growth of your child. You always need to also look at the height of your child.
Okay.
So compare the weight with the height. There may be times when your weight is constant for a period of 6 months, but the height is increasing. So that is also a very good indication that your child is growing.
Okay.
So weight is not only the indicator whether your child is growing or not growing.
Okay.
So that is one. Second, please stop comparing your children with other children.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't do that. Each individual is different. Third is obviously have a balanced diet.
Yeah.
Okay, so make sure your macros, micros are in place. Consult your nutritionist if you have any doubts with healthy recipes or what to be given at what age. So
Okay.
balanced diet is one more point.
Yeah.
Next would be have your yearly checkups
Yeah.
with the experts. So your pediatrician, your nutritionist, any other experts that you're looking at.
Yeah.
And last but not the least would be social media.
Yeah.
Please don't blindly follow what is there on these social media platforms. Don't compare your child with the materials that are available online.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't know the credibility, the source of those materials. So one article will be calling milk healthy, the other article will be calling it unhealthy.
Yeah.
A1, A2, this, blah, blah, blah. There's too much on the net and
Yeah.
you don't know what is correct. So please stay away from that. So that's my basic takeaways from the chat.
I think you're so right to call out that, a lot of parents watch these random videos on social media that are not developed by experts. There are videos of children eating all sorts of food. It's a big trigger for me, right? Like for me as a mother, because I have a picky eater, my son is a picky eater. So when I watch a video of a son or a daughter across the world in some other country finishing a whole plate of food by themselves, and these moms are just kind of around just serving them food, it triggers me. And it's really wrong because I'm inherently comparing my child with that unknown child. I don't know the background, I don't know the history, and it's wrong. And I think we should just stop comparing our children. As parents, we should just not project our anxieties and insecurities on them, especially when it comes to body image, and just kind of accept, how they've been built, and accept and also educate society at large to accept children and not focus so much on their outward appearance. Thank you so much. I think one of the things that parents need to learn over time is not project our own personal insecurities on our child. So, whether it's about body image, whether it's about constantly comparing yourself to your child, like if you were thin, your child should be thin. If you were tall, your child should be tall. And I think that's very unfair. I think all of us are on our own individual journey, so is our child, and all we can do as parents is to just give them the environment to flourish, but don't expect them to turn out a particular way, because that's not in your control. So thank you so much for listening in. You can log on to our website to shop our products, to consult with experts, and even join our community of mothers. Also download the Little Joys app. And we'll see you next time in another episode with yet another interesting topic. Take care. Bye-bye.